Welcome to our explainer. Today we are diving deep, and I mean really deep, into the human brain. We're going to go on a chemical journey to see how all sorts of substances, everything from your morning coffee to some really powerful hallucinogens, can actually change the way we experience reality itself.
So it all really comes down to this single question, doesn't it? I mean, how is it possible? It seems kind of like magic that a simple chemical, a powder, or a plant can get in there and totally rewire how we feel, what we think, and what we see. But here's the thing, it's not magic at all. It's chemistry. And together, we're going to break down exactly how that works.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the one thing all these substances have in common, the chemical hijack. Then, we'll break things down into three big categories: the uppers, the downers, and the mind-benders. And finally, we're going to look at the hidden cost, the unseen price tag that links them all.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. It doesn't matter if a drug makes you feel on top of the world, totally chilled out, or like you're seeing the universe for the first time. They all start from the exact same place. They mess with your brain's natural wiring.
And this right here is the key. You got to understand, your brain already has these incredibly sophisticated systems for managing your mood, your energy levels, how you see the world. These drugs, they don't invent new feelings out of thin air. No, they just come in and hijack the controls. They find the dials for reward, perception, and energy, and they just crank them way, way up or slam them all the way down.
First up, let's talk about the substances that basically slam their foot on your brain's gas pedal. We call them the uppers. These are the drugs that give you this intense but ultimately fake feeling of energy, focus, and yeah, even confidence.
So a stimulant, well, it does exactly what it sounds like. It speeds everything up. Your neurons fire faster, your heart beats harder, your thoughts start to race. But you have to ask, where is all that extra energy coming from? Well, the truth is, it's not a gift. It's more like a high-interest loan.
And this table just lays out that illusion so perfectly. Let's start with caffeine, something most of us know. It doesn't actually give you energy. All it does is block the chemical in your brain that says, hey, you're tired. That peak feeling, that confidence in a cup, is great, but the trap is that the withdrawal just feels like a normal part of your day. Now, nicotine gives you this quick little dopamine hit, a nice brief high. But its trap is so sneaky, the only piece it offers is relief from the craving that the last cigarette created. Then you get to the heavy hitters. Cocaine, an instant electric high. You feel fast, powerful, untouchable. But that very feeling is what rewires your brain to scream for another hit. And meth? That's just a raw explosion of energy. You feel invincible. But the trap is terrifying. It's not creating energy. It's literally borrowing it, stealing it from your own future. And the crash is just devastating.
And this quote just nails the fundamental problem with all stimulants. That feeling of power, of being in control. It's a total mirage. Every single time you use, your brain's idea of what normal feels like shifts a little bit, until eventually the drug isn't about feeling good anymore. It's just about not feeling awful.
So now, let's do a complete 180. We're going from the accelerator to the brakes. Let's talk about the downers. These are the substances that promise an escape, a way out from all the stress and anxiety by giving you this borrowed, totally artificial sense of calm.
You know, a depressant's job is to slow the brain right down. It's supposed to quiet that non-stop voice in your head, relax your muscles, and numb you out to both physical and emotional pain. It's a chemical whisper that says, don't worry, I'll make it all go away.
And if you look at this table, you'll see a really similar pattern of a promise and a hidden peril. Alcohol, for instance, starts with that warm, fuzzy feeling of relaxation. It gives you this illusion of being in control right as your judgment is actually slipping away. The trap? It makes you feel so alive in the moment while it's slowly dulling all the senses that actually make you human. Opioids offer something much deeper, a heavy, profound calm, a bliss that's so intense it's almost like being unconscious. The trap there is one of the most brutal. Then you have benzodiazepines or benzos. They quiet your racing thoughts, giving you this soft, detached feeling. But the price is that over time, your brain literally forgets how to create that calm by itself.
This quote says it all, really. It was first used to describe opioids, but it captures the terrifying final stage of depressant addiction perfectly. The substance stops being something you use for relief and becomes the only thing that stands between you and a world of unbearable pain. That calm it gave you at the beginning, it was a loan, and now it has to be paid back, with crippling interest.
All right, our last category, and maybe the most fascinating of them all,
These substances, they don't just turn the volume of reality up or down. Nope, they change the channel completely. These are the mind benders.
So what hallucinogens and dissociatives do is they basically scramble the communication lines between different parts of your brain. They completely mess with how you process the world around you, and sometimes even your own sense of who you are.
And you can just see here how many different ways there are to rewrite reality. Cannabis, it distorts your senses, makes time feel like it's stretching and slowing down. The risk is that it can really dull your motivation, and you can become psychologically dependent. LSD can literally dissolve your ego, that sense of I, but the trips are so unpredictable, which is a huge risk. Psilocybin, for magic mushrooms, it transforms your perception. It can make you feel one with everything, but in the wrong setting, it can also trigger absolute terror. And ketamine, it can give you a powerful out-of-body experience, which disconnects you from pain, sure, but it can also disconnect you from meaning itself.
I love this quote. It's such a perfect way to describe the risk. These experiences can feel incredibly profound, but you have zero control. They can leave these echoes, these flashbacks, long after the drug is gone. That door they open into your subconscious, it doesn't always shut so easily.
So, okay, we've looked at 3 totally different ways to alter consciousness: speeding up, slowing down, and completely rewriting reality. But all 3 paths can lead to the same dangerous place. They all share a common risk, a potential final destination. Let's talk about that universal price tag.
This is exactly how the trap snaps shut. It doesn't matter if it's the rush from a stimulant or the calm from a depressant, your brain's reward system gets hijacked. It gets rewired. It learns this dangerous artificial shortcut to feeling good. Pretty soon, tolerance builds. You need more and more of the substance just to get the same feeling you got at the beginning. Then, if you try to stop, withdrawal kicks in, and that physical and mental pain becomes this powerful, desperate reason to use again. And that initial feeling you had that you were in control, that's long gone. At this point, the substance isn't about feeling good anymore. It's about not feeling horribly bad. It becomes the one thing you need just to feel normal.
And that really just leaves us with this one final question to think about. These substances offer us these powerful illusions, right? The illusion of endless energy, of perfect calm, of deep insight. But when the entire experience is being created by an outside chemical, it really makes you wonder who or what is actually in the driver's seat.